Have you ever wondered what it would be like living in the harsh water for the winter, where the nights are cold and the nightmares are mechanical? Well, to be honest, it's pretty well known how horrible and chaotic it is. But in this video, we're gonna go into more detail and more speculation on how deadly life is in the game Forever Winter. Let's say you were just dropped off in the water for a winter. What would you do? What if just over time your conditions just got horribly and horrible? You just realize that in the neighborhood, your rage and your wope are fighting each other. So a lot of people say you need 4 things for survival: food, shelter, water, ale. You really do need this stuff in this setting, but you're also gonna need a gun. Okay, heal me out. So we all know the landscapes in Forever Winter are just jaw-dropping. They're beautiful. My computer even tells me so with its humming. But we also know it's super hostile. There's a lot of biomechanical horrors out there. There's a lot of things you don't want to see in real life. So you're gonna need a gun. You're gonna need protection. It's not a whole lot you can do to the big shots, like the giant mechs, the medium mechs, the Eurasian mech, you know. What are you gonna do about that? You're gonna need another mech to deal with that. Most likely, you're not going to run into that mech. But just in case, if you run into that stray cyborg or another starving survivor, you're going to need that to body these guys. You're not really that guy, so you're not going to go the John Wick route, you know, shooting 5 guys, grabbing, you know, a pencil, you know. You're not going to do that, so you're going to be hiding for your life. It's war. These cyborgs hit like a truck, they'll kill you. I assume an average open soldier might be better. He's gonna be jumpy, he's gonna shoot you on sight. You gotta be careful in the wasteland. That's another thing you're gonna need is stealth, because you can't take an exo patrol even if you have a gun or not. You're gonna need to be a rat. You're gonna need to master the tunnels. You're gonna need to recognize the underground sewers. You gotta go full Last of Us style, knowing all your hidden spots, all your hidden entrances to even give you a little bit of an advantage. You're gonna need a way to avoid everything that is going on the surface, because you do not want a part of that. You do not want that. And that's why you're gonna have to master the tunnels. You're gonna need to know your ins and outs of each area so you can get into the tunnels, you can hide away, you can score your way like a rat, or you're gonna run into this stuff. If you need a buddy up to a local European troop or just a safer entrance, you better, because you're gonna need anything you can get your hands on, any slight advantage, because this place is harsh as hell. Using the tunnels to survive is probably the safest way to live in this world, as far as we know at the moment. We don't know if there's some horrible creatures down there, though we don't know much about the tunnel system or the culture within the game at the moment, but I assume it's gonna be super important and super helpful for all players. I assume it's going to be very important in the future to the lore, since all the player innards are there. So this is why you're going to need to know how to sneak around. But if you have no luck finding it out in the wild, also scrounge around enough booze and supplies and trade it, and the various block markets we see in the game. But we don't know how much common they are. We don't know if we can just go to a slum and find it, or it's some guy in a van in a parking lot selling it to you. Also, money can buy you a lot of things in this game. It can buy you a mercenary to even protect you. You can be a big shot guy. You can buy water for communities. Honestly, if you're a worthy enough trader, find the best stuff, everyone's gonna love you. You can bring a lot to a community. And if the trading part seems lame to you, you can just do what everyone does. Just join a warband. That's what our favorite chain smoker does. I imagine warbands just go around taking jobs from anything, raiding communities. That's how they survive, or that's probably just raiders, to be honest. You can become one of those. There's a lot of things you can become. So I imagine it being like the Golden Age arc in Berserk. You know, they took jobs from a lord, like let's say a European sergeant wants your group to do something for him, they hire you, you do it. Maybe that's how it works. I think that would be super freaking cool if that's how they added it. This could solve the entire struggle. Just raiding all the communities. Join a warband, you can get anything you want by force. We know the water bandits will just storm your base for water. That's just what they're known for. That's how goofy they are. It's just, oh, we hear you're running low, we're gonna storm you, we're gonna steal remains. The little goblin guys, and you can be like that. You can be a warband. You can go in and steal people's toothbrushes. Now, if you don't want to go any of those routes, you can just struggle your way through the wastelands till you find shelter. Or, you know, until a community finds you. Do you want to stay at your community, like your Innards, you're going to have to work for it. You have to contribute to the community. It's either that, or you're kicked out, or everyone dies. It's a very harsh situation. There's many ways you can contribute to your community, the survival community. You can do it by scavenging, bringing home stuff, guarding the place. You can guard scavengers who do that stuff. We know that's how you contribute to a community, but where would communities live? And to be honest, we don't really have much clue at the moment. We see mostly underground communities, like the one map with the cultists roaming about. That's probably their side of town. The player's Innards, plus anyone you knows is Innards, you know, in game. So we can tell mostly survivors in this universe live underground, which makes sense because it's super cold. I think a lot of people forget that Forever Winter is super, super cold. Who knows? There could be underground cities. We don't know how crazy it gets. If there's big underground networks, that would be so cool if it's just a big underground slum. Like someone's Innards, where it's like you can just stay at night, they have everything you need. But you know, it's still in the conditions of a sewer. But I would love to see more underground structures too. That would be so great in all the communities. You can also see in the trailer, there's some guys chilling by fires near some slums. So there could be some slums. The live above ground might be horrible. You're probably some serfs for a freaking Eurasian lord, probably contributing to his war fight. I don't know. I'm probably making fan theories now. That's just all speculation. I mean, living in the above ground slums would sound awful because in game you can encounter like scav roundups you can save. It's just bad. Who knows, they could be thieves too, I don't know, or they could be even evicted by their home. It's just awful stuff on the surface. That's why I would be a sewer rat and I'll live underground, because it's just away from the mechanical whores and the heat extinguishers. So it's like, it's a double whammy. You're just hiding from everything. No one's gonna find you, hopefully. Hopefully no bomb will find you evil. If we count Evasion and Warbands as survivors of this, you can see a lot of encampments around, like a lot of turf they own. Like the European encampment above ground, you could be a guy just knowing a Eurasian raid or a freaking Eurasian raid's gonna attack you at any moment. And you can't really do much about it but get zooted and just fight for the glorious Federation to the end. Just there's not a lot you can do on the surface but, you know, be killed by something awful, because there's a lot of scary crap out there. Either way, you have to take shelter. Anywhere is shelter. Even if it's bad shelter, you have to take shelter. Either way, I'd take the comfy sewers. I just don't want to wake up to a giant mech swinging body bags on my window. I don't want to wake up to that. I don't want to open a window and see that. I'll be in the sewers underground. And the number two basic needs you need is food and water. And you can get these from trading or, you know, from raiding in your warband, but it seems like you're gonna have to get used to the black market, because scavs are stronger together, because some guy has food, you have water, you guys trade. Even if it's credits, smokes, or booze, you need something to trade in this kind of situation. If you manage to find a exoport, I'm sure a European troop would gladly trade a week's ration for a walking exo in his platoon. You have to do anything just to get your hands on food and water. It's gonna be tricky. It's not like you can grow food in a field. You need European MOEs. You need those Eurasian snacks. Just anything before you turn into a cannibal and eating like canned human and stuff. Because that's gonna be a thing in the black market. If someone's desperate enough, they're gonna do it. It's gross. But, you know, you can't really judge in this kind of situation. Water is going to be one of the harder things to get. It's going to be super expensive, because where do you even get water in that kind of wasteland? Everything's all crusty and horrible and dusty and cold and awful. There's permafrost everywhere. It can be super hard to get water. Not sure if they get it from those large water filters maybe a faction brings them in and they get stolen somehow. And I assume rainwater would be too toxic for life, so you can't collect that. But I also assume like any body of water would be toxic and polluted as hell. So I'm not sure how water is even obtained in the first place in this universe. If you guys know, comment down below. And don't forget about ale. The war in the Forever Winter isn't fighting on green energy. So your lungs are gonna get ruined by all the pollution out there. Yeah, sure you can breathe it in sometimes. Yeah, but it's gonna wreck you up. That's why you see scavs pack those heavy-duty masks with those tubes, because it is very polluted. It is super polluted out there. But then again, you get people who just don't care, like Chad Bagman. He's cool as hell. I don't know if there's any little reason with that, but you know, he's just letting his lungs breathe. That's why you're gonna need something to protect yourself from the exhaust fumes of the world's superpowers fighting each other. How would you survive in the Forever Winters game? Like, how would you survive if you were dropped in there? How would you manage yourself? And comment down below, because I would love to see discussions. Also, make sure to join the official Forever Winter Discord. Such a great community. A lot of good people in there. Especially the Fury Crafting channel. That's where I hang out the most at. Also, sorry I was gone for such a long time. I'm planning on making more videos, and stay tuned for more Forever Winter lore.